Good? Okay. Perfect. He said
Yay.
we're good. So if you want to pose for the like we're just like we're just
Yeah,
coming into this and we'll we'll take on all the other stuff later. But
for
awesome.
sure.
We're in. We're good. We're golden.
Yeah, we're excited.
I know. No, right? All right. So cool beans. All right. Let's get right into this segment because I'm excited.
Um,
Way too excited for it to be normal. I'm telling you. This is way too this is problematic how excited I am. Sweating. Okay. Cheers.
it's going to be great.
Quantum Leapers. I know, right? I am Ambericent Cornett, your host for today's fourth installment expedition, if you rather, into the STEM speaker series brought to you by AWIS DC and sponsored by Camilico LLC. As the president-elect of the AWIS chapter, I hate talking about myself, but I bring 22 years of experience spanning federal service, financial and public health sectors, and all that rot, right? So I am an intelligence and information operations and cybersecurity expert. Currently within ironically, the dissertation phase of my quantum technology doctorate, which is why I'm so excited to talk about this today because this is right up my alley. Um, so my work includes significant stints in engineering, program management, and space medicine epidemiology at NASA Johnson Space Center in my hometown of Houston, Texas, as well as global migration and zoonotic infectious disease epidemiology with the CDC. Say that 3 times fast. So, so today's session continues our tradition of showcasing the diverse talents within STEAM, which are science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And of course, we're going to include medicine because we think that these fields definitely pivot into the mainstream of medicine as well. So be forewarned. You're gonna see some people coming in here with medical backgrounds and different specialties to include, in our genre of STEM. Our speakers, both emerging professionals and esteemed experts, hail from across the globe and highlight our commitment to celebrating women's achievements in the fields worldwide. Today is no short of an explanation of that exact, situation because we are met with our esteemed guest, and I will give you more details on her. But just to kind of give you an overview or basically like the worldwide assessment of what we do here. She is calling us from Chile. I will let her get into that more in this developing topic, but it is my privilege to introduce a distinguished guest and a dear friend of mine. I have known her all of 5 minutes, but I swear I've known her for an eternity because I love her so much. She's awesome. Miss Elisa Torres Durney. She is a groundbreaker in her work of quantum computing, and she continues to inspire many as well as myself. I mean, I can't. I made the mistake of looking at her repertoire, and it literally eclipses mine. So let's dive into some of her background, and I will give her the floor to tell you more of her amazing feats that she's done thus far. So Elisa is the founder and CEO of Girls in Quantum. It's a nonprofit organization advancing global quantum education and empowering women in STEM. She has reached a mass of 5,000 students in 26 different countries. You heard me, 26 different countries. That is insane. And through these courses, she constitutes institutions like the Perimeter Institute and partnerships with industry leaders such as IBM and the UN. So this I can't talk about her enough, but I'm gonna try. So Elisa has spoken at over 50 international conferences. I didn't say U.S. I didn't say Chile. International. So this girl has flight miles. Okay, including IBM, TEDx, and the Women Economic Forum, reaching over 15,000 attendees. She has been recognized as one of Chile's 30 most powerful women and received the top 10 Global Student Prize from Varkey Foundation and Chegg. I mean, I don't I don't know if you haven't started Googling her yet, but go ahead if you want to take the time to do it because she has crazy background and I'm fortunate we're blessed to have you here because I know you're busy. I really want to put out your business, but I feel like that's yours to include about some recent information about what you're doing in your studies and things like that. But welcome, Quantum Queen, Elisa. How are you today?
No, I'm so thankful for the invitation, Ambericent. I can't imagine, like, it's going to be a wonderful conversation that we're going to have together. And
Absolutely.
and yeah, I love your energy. I think that it's like also it's like I'm also right now like more energized right now. So I like that, and hopefully we can sort of share that enthusiasm to the audience as well. I'm connecting here from Chile, but I'll be soon there in the United States near you. I'll be in North Carolina, especially in Durham, studying at Duke University. I'm going to major in engineering, so go women in STEM. And yeah,
Yes.
I can't wait to start this conversation, honestly, talking about quantum and
Uh-oh. I think we lost you a little bit. Now, if
oh,
you don't, oh, no, you're good now. But in case you don't know, she's weathering a storm, and I mean that
yeah,
significantly because, like, Chile has had some crazy diabolical
that's
weather
right.
these past few days. Matter of fact, it stunted our growth in particular because we weren't able to actually meet up on one of our days. We had to postpone it because there was power outages and things like that. And I know if you're from Texas, you know what I'm talking about because we had several people with power outages, and yeah, it was crazy. But like Houston was
Wow.
down. I mean, billions of dollars in damage. So we're very fortunate to have her here because they did not have the plight that was going on in other areas. So the storms are bad. So if there is any particular reason why her conversation is a little bit yielded, please give us the grace to kind of catch her up just to make sure. If I don't hear her, I will make sure I tell her, hey, hang on a second, let's see if it rolls over. But for the fact that she's even here doing this, that's phenomenal in itself. She could probably go
I
be
appreciate
doing
it.
something else. So I want to make sure the audience knows, like, this is significant because the
Uh,
girl has had storms over in Chile, and
yeah,
the climate is totally different, right? It's summer here in the U.S., but it's winter there.
yeah, exactly. It's winter right here, and honestly, like the weather, it's crazy. So I'm really thankful that right now everything's working well. So if anything happens, I'll try to reconnect and everything to go everything really well.
Yes, perfect. Okay, well, so let's kick this whole thing off. It's my pleasure to welcome you here today to share your expertise and passion and the groundbreaking work that you are doing in quantum computing. I'm so excited. I'm so floored. I'm so
Me too.
everything.
Me too.
Um, we have so much to discuss, and I'm really confident that we're going to inspire people to get into tech, and we're going to inspire the deep dive conversations into the fascinating technology, the world of quantum technologies. I'm stumbling because I'm super excited. If you can't tell, like, I'm literally bouncing off the walls. So
Me
for
too.
our audience, right? Like, for our audience, we're gonna make sure we clarify any acronyms or technical terms that may come up in this segment to make sure you're still on track, to make sure you're still following, so we don't get the deer in the headlight look that we can't see, where you're like, what are they talking about? We will try to keep it kosher and tech light, but we may go left. So Elisa, could you please start off by explaining what quantum computing is?
Awesome. Okay, I'll make sure. I think that we also like discussed this firstly, and I was really talking with Paris, and we were like, well, how am I going to explain this like without like many things? So really getting complicated, right? So I will make the disclaimer that I talked with a professor. I remember like some months ago, and he was telling me, well, Lisa, I've been teaching quantum computing. I've been trying to do research in this area, but I still don't know anyone that understand it fully. So just a disclaimer for everyone that if you don't understand the first time, it's completely okay. I think it's a world of exploration, and that's like the thing that amazes me. So I would say that first, like quantum computing is a new type of computing. So this uses properties of quantum mechanics. And so to understand this, let's take regular computers, so classical computers. Those classical computers, we all search a lot of information, right? Emails, do we have like a lot of apps, ton of things. So how do we sort of process information? So those computers or iPads, tablets, laptops, all of those use bits. So those can be either 0 or 1, right? So really simple binary. But quantum computers are not that simple actually. So they use qubits, and they can be not just in 0 or 1, they can be in a superposition of 1 and 0. What is a superposition? Let's imagine a simple coin, right? So we have a coin right here, and a coin have like two states, we can say, a tails or heads. So you can have a coin in your hand right now and see like, hey, actually this state is a coin, it's a 0, and the other state is a 1, right? So you can see one or the other. But a quantum computer could be represented like that coin flipping in the air. So you cannot see the 0 or 1, right? It's like this combination of its states. So that's what happened with quantum computers. And that allows quantum computers to be much efficient solving certain problems. So just to understand this better, quantum computers are not better in many things much than classical computers. They won't solve like all the problems much faster, but certain problems, they can be really much efficient than the classical computers that we use. So that's the magic. Probably being more efficient and faster in solving different problems. And there's a lot of things going on right now. There are a lot of things to improve, but overall, right now, this is an exciting sort of, I would say, age or era for quantum computers.
Absolutely. And in case you think that this is just a happenstance, it kind of is. But Elisa knows a lot of the individuals that I frequent in the conversations that I have in quantum computing. And so this is no joke. She's giving you real information, real definitions, and breaking it down to you the way we had to learn it before we got into this construct of quantum focus. So, really good explanation. That's actually the one that I was hoping you were going to give. To
So
give like the 0 and 1 and then all the gray area in between. So, yes, if you understand heads or tails, you know that the frequency for quantum computing actually has an infinite amount of frequencies between the 0 and the 1. So, just regurgitating what she said. Hey, this is Professor Elisa. You better listen to her. So, because I know some of us are visual learners, but I talked to her right before this, and I was like, oh my God, I just had a great idea. Let's get some photos to boost the conversation and show people really what quantum computing looks like, because it's not your regular laptop. It's not. So what I wanted to do was show you a couple of pictures, and we're going to pause so you can see the pictures. But the first picture that I'm going to show you is going to be, of course, me at one of the last events that IBM actually displayed their quantum computing system in its whole form. And the next picture will show you a closer view of that same model. And then we're going to show you another view where we're showing you the actual computing itself. Brace yourself. But let me go ahead and
yeah, get
prompt
prepared
these.
for this.
let me prompt these real quick, because they're going to be like, wait, what? Okay, so here we go. Pause for a moment. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that we saw those first before we actually talked about them. So the third picture that I showed was the full scale model, right? That was the entire quantum computing system in itself. That's the one that was generation one, I think, for
Yeah, I
uh
think it was just, I think it's system one, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, system one for IBM, which, if you don't know, IBM is like the cusp of all things quantum, because they have really integrated like mass modeling for their quantum qubit formation. Like they're up, I can't remember what, I should have researched this, but I can't remember, but they're up to like the thousands size, which can calculate things in an infinite number. The second picture was a little bit of a close up where you can see all of the golden rods and all the formations, the coils and everything connecting. And that actually is the actual formation of your quantum computer. And then that first picture that I showed you was the actual chip. And if you want to see it again, I can roll that back really quickly, but hang on. So if you saw in this photo, there was a little black square cubed little section in the center. That itself is the quantum computer. I know the whole thing should have been the quantum computer, but it's not. It's literally that one little microchip. And I guess that's the best way to explain it. So we did some calculations before we got on this conversation because we wanted to make it realistic for everybody here. So of course, the United States uses Fahrenheit as their common, complexity of temperature gauge. Most people in the scientific world use Celsius, and for quantum computing, they actually use Fahrenheit. Not Fahrenheit, but Kelvin. Well, so the calculations, I'll let her give it to you because she's better at it than I am right now. I'm going to put you on a platform. Just get ready for it. So you're all things quantum today. So in essence of temperatures right now, the coldest place in the universe is, what did we calculate it?
We calculated minus 469, if I'm not wrong, degrees Fahrenheit.
No. Yes. Yep.
The quantum computer.
Right. So minus 469 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equivalent to 15 millikelvin, right? Which is equal to 0.015 Kelvin.
That's right. So it's a lot.
It's fraught. It's colder than the coldest place on Earth, the universe. It's very cold. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a mathematical inference also, while I was working at NASA, if I can remember correctly, the temperature for the nitrogen, the freezing nitrogen solution that we have in the big tanks in Johnson Space Center were actually at negative 120 to 150.
Wow.
So just think, like, if you're freezing things cryogenically at that rate, this has got to be the most frigid thing that we know to date. So just to kind of give you a scale on it. So calculations, girl, I love them. All right, so we're gonna stop geeking out and we're gonna move to another question. So we're gonna talk about just the motivation of it all, right? So Elisa, can you share what inspired you to found Girls in Quantum and the impact you hope to achieve through this initiative?
100%. I would say that definitely it was the chance to get to know a course. Actually, it was a quantum computing course. And it was during the pandemic, actually, all of this. So I was like, okay, I have plenty of time right now. I had 5 hours of school, which I usually had 9 or 8. So I was like, okay, I should enjoy my time. I should do something. And I applied to this course and I ended up receiving this full scholarship to participate. So I was like, wow, jumping on my bed, like so happy about it. But I didn't know what was quantum actually. I was like, okay, quantum computing, I just know the computing side of it, right? Like the basics at least.
You were set up.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I'll try at least, right? So I tried. I spent 9 months working along other classmates around the world, learning about quantum computing from lectures from MIT and other universities as well, from Oxford. So they were like, wow, they were really cool and sort of experts in these areas. So I got inspired by them, but also the community. I would say that learning along classmates that I wouldn't have the chance to share with them if weren't by the course, or just learning about the potential applications of quantum computing was a great opportunity for me. So I wanted to just try and share the same opportunity that I had to other students as well here in Chile and perhaps in other parts of the world. Who knows? And I remember the last day of Zoom, I said to myself, well, why not writing to my classmates, telling them like, hey, you want to join me in this initiative that I'm planning? And that's how I started. I gathered, I would say 3 students, one from Spain, United States, and Ethiopia. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm a girl from Chile. Like nobody knows me. How am I going to know this? Like build a platform that could be really helpful for others, because I didn't have like the connections or anything to like build this into something that could empower other students. So I said to myself, well, I think that the best thing to do is teamwork, right? So we started with them and we started developing different things, resources, educational resources, workshops, emailing a lot of people, and that's how it started.
And I mean, it's a phenomenal like example of, hey, you know what? Itty bitty me, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try this. And it took off in a
Exactly.
full scope scale. And I'm so proud of you for doing that. That is not an easy feat. And I mean, you can
Thank
deal with
you.
imposter syndrome and all kinds of crazy
A
stuff to
lot
kind of
of
talk
it.
you off. And for you to keep going, that is crazy. So I would love to see, I know I want to see you go and be a, Blue Devil and get it in Duke University, but I would so love to see this grow here in the US, especially while you're here on the East Coast. So that would be awesome. I applaud you.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Thank you.
um, so can you tell us about the initial challenges you faced when starting Girls in Quantum?
For sure. I would say that definitely the skepticism was one of the main issues as well. So many people, when I had like these meetings with them and they saw like this baby face of like a 16-year-old trying to tell them about quantum computing and like starting an organization and gathering students, they were like, oh wait, what's happening
Wait,
here? What am I
what?
missing? Who is behind this, right? So there were many challenges in that way of trying to present the organization or trying to amplify or voice, we could say. But I would say that right now, like teamwork and sort of getting to, okay, get rejected, like try to talk with different people and they say, no, it's okay because you can pass a page right now. And I would say, okay, I learn from them. Let's go and ask another person, or let's go and take this advice from someone. Let's go and ask for a 15-minute coffee chat, right? So I never thought that could be possible, or I could have or develop that mindset of like, okay, let's try again. Let's like face rejection. It was more about let's talk with the team, let's brainstorm about different ideas and how can we move on. So my team has definitely been my main pillar of support, as well as my family. And I would say as a second sort of challenge would be the term of, or like the aspect of getting mentors. We do organize many workshops and many sort of as well activities for students to learn about quantum computing. However, when we want to gather different people to be mentors, there aren't many, right? So
Right.
there aren't many people in quantum computing, or there aren't many people that are sort of that want to explain quantum computing in a level that it's really introductory, right? There are many people perhaps in the academia aspect like doing these amazing breakthroughs in quantum computing or in quantum mechanics. However, gathering mentors that could be teaching other students, it's really, really difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand because I mean, just us basically, breaking it down, not saying anybody on this platform is novice, but anybody that follows scientific research and advancements and things like that, we've all heard of it before, but to hear it broken down to where it's not in a classroom base with all these extra books, it's just it's very refreshing to find somebody that can do that, and I super applaud you for it. Because even when I started in this program, I was like, wait, what? I don't know what I'm doing. But I had some very good encouragement from people you know. So I mean, this is one of those things that we're just gonna have to take the reins and deal with it and just help people, maneuver into the space and really understand and try to become, SMEs in their own right. And that's just fine. I'm just fine with
That's
that. So
right. That's
if you need me, let me know. I will help you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, for sure. You're
No.
doing amazing work. And I think that that should be like seen to other people, inspire more girls and females as well. And people in general. I think that their quantum computing could be right now like an emerging technology. However, who knows in 10 years, who knows in 20 years,
Right.
AI, we've seen how AI has evolved so far, like really quickly, like some things like ethical implications, like many things, honestly. So
Right.
I think that there is a lot of expectation as well for quantum.
Yeah, and especially since like what the 60s, 70s, there's been like that quantum computing and the aspirations of it all, and then chopping up these little pieces of like historical measures where we've gone from like the old IBM computers with like the green screen with the black, oh my God, I'm dating myself. But to all of the to all of the stuff that we're working with now, like this it was a boom. So I expect quantum to take the same landscape. Like it's going to catapult. And within the government sectors, of course, it's going to take a little bit of time because it's like the red tape and all these controversial issues, policy measures, blah blah blah. It'll take some
Yeah,
time, but you're gonna see it catapult. I guarantee you. In the next 10 years, we're gonna see
yeah,
such a vast operation system that we're gonna be like mind blown.
can't wait
Uh,
for that.
cannot wait. Um, so how has the vision for Girls in Quantum evolved since its inception?
Um, I think that like the main thing about girls in quantum when starting was very difficult to get the vision down. Like, how are we going to do this? Are we just like four students that are going to have like this small project for a school or a club? So it was really difficult, but we ended up sort of deciding into, okay, we want to create a platform similar to Khan Academy. So anyone that is like a fan of Khan Academy is like me, because I love Khan Academy. I think that it's really simple, and you can use the platform to learn about mathematics. It could be about, I don't know, English, biology, many many topics. So we really wanted to sort of share that platform to anyone that could access in a completely free way, anytime, anywhere,
Right.
about quantum computing. However, like along the journey of quantum or developing girls in quantum, we realize it's not just about learning, it's not just about providing resources, because there are some resources in the internet, right? It's about sort of democratizing access in the way that
Right.
a girl or a student from a country that they do not speak English, for example, they can access it. So we start translating resources to Spanish, to Tamil. A wonderful girl from India that is now our ambassador said, like, hey, let me translate this to Tamil. And she translated to Tamil, and she was able to sort of share those resources to people in her school, to people in her community that speak Tamil. So I think at those sort of milestones that perhaps we can say, oh, it was just translating it. It was actually a big impact for other people, as well as also creating this community that can help you or like can support you along the way so you can learn together. It's not just, okay, I have the resources right now, I have them in my language, but who is going to support you? Who is going to be there when, let's say, quantum computing gets complicated, even more complicated than it is,
Right.
right? So I think that the mission overall has evolved in the way that you can have a community, and it can also impact in certain ways that, hey, we can inspire more girls to become involved in STEM areas. We can inspire other students to learn about quantum computing without having like these issues of languages. And thirdly, to have this community of like, hey, I support you. Let's learn together. Let's connect in Zoom. Let's talk through Discord. That was like the main idea, the vision.
I love it. And I mean, look, and I'm speaking from experience. It is never too late to do a change in your educational shift. It's never too late to go get a certification, a
That's
degree
right.
program that involves STEM and the access of it. Because I mean, this is a global opportunity for people to really learn and harness that STEM research and that appeal. It's not all glitz and glam like a YouTube blogger or anything like that. No offense, but I mean, to keep things like that in the world of what we know today, we need people to be in STEM, to be the coders, the developers, the architects, the scientists, the technologists. We need those people. So this is really, I love how this is shaking up the circumstances of putting quantum in the laps of other people, especially on a global scale. And I'm
Oh,
I'm so grateful for people like you that want to put this in other areas of the world. Because I mean, we can have it here or in one of the other main states, but I think on a global scale, it's so awesome that you've reached that many people. So,
Oh,
um,
that's wonderful. And I appreciate it. I think I also like what you mentioned. I think it's really important, like imposter syndrome. Overall, like you may feel like you are not an expert. I am still not an expert. I still to learn a lot of it about quantum. And I think sometimes that stops many people into like doing a project, doing like, I don't know, even an organization, a club, like whatever they want. I think that stops a lot of people. So like if you have like an idea in mind, if you have a project, like communicate it to someone. I think ideas maybe like some people think, oh, my idea would be stolen, but actually it's like if you do the project with someone else, that will be much better, I assure you. So
yeah, quantum entanglement project that I am working on right
awesome.
now.
Love it.
So, okay, let me let me stop because we'll start talking about stuff and I don't want to get okay. So, let's talk about career advancements because as if you don't already have a career, you do.
Um,
Um, you have spoken at over 50 international conferences. That is no small feat by any stretch of the imagination. And have been featured on platforms like CNN and Forbes. Yes, your girl was featured on CNN and Forbes. Like we need to aspire to be those levels. What has been one of your most memorable speaking engagements and why? And you can't say this because I know it would be this on the top of your list, but what would be the most
uh,
memorable one?
no, I think it's so difficult to choose. I love like this kind of conversations, especially when it's like you have the time to discuss about different topics, and you also get into like the personal area as well. It's not just about, oh, okay, let's show the theory or let's show like the applications. It's just like the process overall. So I like that. I'm honestly being thankful enough to have the opportunity to go to this event. Sometimes I think like how do I get like invited to these events where there's like people that are like so great in these areas. But overall, I would say that one event that really caught my attention or that was really special to me was when I was invited to Switzerland. So uh,
Okay.
I I
Yes, please,
I
please tell.
I was really happy to get invited to Basel in Switzerland. So I was like
I'm done.
having this opportunity to speak at the Global Quantum Symposium 2023. And yeah, no, I was so happy. I was like, okay, this is my first international travel to go and talk about quantum computing. Like, what is what is that happening, right? So I was able to do that. I was able to talk with more than, I don't know, there was like tons of people over there, and I was presenting to 500 people in the audience. They were all professors, physics professors, mathematics professors from all areas. So I was really thankful for the opportunity. I never imagined that could happen, and that a girl from Chile. I was like the only Latin American, I believe, in that conference. So that a girl from Chile was presenting about this. I was like, it's still surreal.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned Switzerland, I knew where you were going with this. And I was like, oh, she went to A Girl Can Dream, right? Like, those are conferences that first of all, going to them is one thing, but being invited and presenting is so different. So,
Yeah.
oh my God. Next time you get an invite, please let me know so I can possibly be
Yeah.
your plus one because that is
Excellent.
crazy.
I love that.
And if you all don't know what that conference is, please go Google it. It's literally awesome. I look forward to these conferences and I just look at the amounts of money that they require for tickets and I'm just like, oh, I don't make that yet. I
No,
don't make that
it's
yet.
really wonderful, and to get to know the ecosystem as well, like getting to know what's happening in like each country with quantum computing, how they're adapting new sort of national strategies, how they're like
Yeah.
implementing like these new policies. It's just so like mind blowing. So yeah.
You get like a front row and like an exclusive at like all of the things that are happening. It's like going to a fashion show. You get a heads up
Yeah.
of the
And a
next
winter.
season before it actually hits the stores. So this is exactly how I love that analogy. That was a really good one. I came off of that. But yes,
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. It is seeing the next season's line before anybody
I
else
love
does.
that. Yeah,
So,
I'm really thankful for the opportunity.
yes. So okay, well, that was mind blowing. I could talk about that forever because now I want to hear all the backstories. But so how do you prepare for high profile speaking engagements, and what's a key message that you try to aim to convey to audiences when you do these speaking series or speaking platforms?
For sure. I think that right now to prepare to these sort of conferences has been really difficult for me to like, oh, okay, I'm going to face with the nerves, with like all the expectations as well that's happening over there. But overall, I have been learning that it's first you have to go with the flow somehow. You have to understand what the audience is like, what they want, what they would like to learn as well, what would be different for them as well. Like they might be learning all of those things, right? I remember that same conference, for example. How am I as a girl from like, once again, like 16-year-old girl, what am I going to present that is different from all these people that is going to be here telling about their breakthroughs in physics? And I said to myself, I talked with my parents as well, with some friends. And I think that the main point that I found was trying to tell about this community of the students and how I was building this platform to learn about what these physicists were doing, right? So that was the idea, to sort of not be, oh, I'm going to make all of this different, but you're going to communicate something that is going to be valuable for the audience. So I think that finding your why is really important as well, like why I was going to present there. I was going to share about girls in quantum, but I was also going to share how important is to democratize quantum computing education. How are we going to prepare people, the next workforce and talent, to continue with the work that physicists are doing? So right. I think that communicating is really key for me, just trying to tell all the things that these wonderful students are doing around the world, but also how can we accelerate or boost the potential of the students that are working in these areas and sort of foster the opportunities that are going on right now around the world, right?
Yeah, get them engaged, get them interested, get them focused because that's a big thing too. I'm telling you, in this degree program, I have tried to train myself to stay tunneled in the vision that I've been doing, and it has teetered a little bit over the course of the last year. So yes, I will take that in my personal book of consideration for sure. Um, so and also for the audience, just to kind of throw in this little tidbit, it is not the end of the world if you don't have these speaker series or speaker topics that you come in and do displays for. Talk to your professors and things like that if you want to get on a platform and actually be a speaker, or present some type of research that you've done, because this helps you with public speaking engagements and things like that, because you want to showcase your work. Your work is phenomenal, and it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. So definitely talk to your professors and talk to people that you know in the fields and say, hey, can I work on this project with you? Or, hey, I want to shadow you. Those kind of things spark up the conversation. As Elisa told you, like, that's the way she got started. She just signed up for something and it became this thing that it is now. And now it's a global entity. So one little mustard seed, man, it takes off for sure. Yep. So
step by step.
Yeah. And so here's a chance for you to give your 2 cents as well. What advice would you give aspiring speakers who want to make the same type of impact, or better? Because we want to grow and influence people that are better than us, no matter what era we are in. We always want to see our people do better. So what do you think would be some advice to give someone on the speaking aspirations that they may have, and the impact on international conferences, if you care to share?
For sure. So I think that one of the most important things for me was not just singing for perfection. I think this could be cliche, but not singing just for perfection, but for improvement. Whenever you have like the chance of communicating your ideas or your project, it's really crucial. Sometimes you get to like, oh, okay, I'm going to prepare for this presentation. Let's say I'm going to do this, but wait, I missed this thing, or I need to get this person to be here, or I need to get like the best resources right here in my presentation.
Right.
But sometimes that delays a lot in the process, right? That lets you to focus on different areas perhaps write down the communication, which is even more important. So you can have like the worst slide right here, but if you're communicating right, if you're sharing the message, sharing your purpose, sharing with enthusiasm as well, that could change completely your presentation. So I would say also the way that you present, like, are you really enthusiastic about the topic? What would make you enthusiastic to learn in this area?
Right.
Also, like, once again, like the why, like, why are you doing this? What can be different if you could do like in this area? Like, what would you do if like this would be, I don't know, not accessible for everyone? So I think I asked a lot of questions while you're doing your presentation. Try to seek like your why, try to understand as well other situations that are happening in the world. It's really good when you're giving examples. Sometimes you're trying to explain wonderful things, but if you're not getting into like real examples in the real life, sometimes it get really complicated. So yeah,
It goes
hopefully
left
that can
really
help.
quick. No, and that does. And I mean, look, take demonstrating, right? Like the conversation that we had before we even got on this platform. We had been like months into preparing this, and at the last minute, I'm like, I have a picture of a quantum computer. Let's show it.
Yeah,
Mind
that's
you, this
right.
picture is like a year or two old, and I never thought until an hour before this programming to
Yeah,
put it in the
spontaneous
slide.
things. Yeah, that's
Right.
right. That could be like that could make a difference, right? It doesn't like need to be prepared like for, I don't know, a month in advance. You can like also like develop different ideas and be open to those ideas. Is even better because it can really make an impact or a difference in your
Absolutely.
presentation.
Absolutely. So take it from us. We might be not
Yeah.
new to this, but we definitely take our own advice and we always improve on our speaker series. So thank you for that for sure. So let's get into quantum computing and technology, if we dare. So,
Yeah.
as an expert in quantum computing, I dub it, I say it here, she is an expert, and nobody will argue me. What do you believe are the most exciting developments in the field of study, and how do you see these advances influencing a global industry?
Wow, I would say there are definitely many, many advancements that could be sort of revolutionizing in our world. But definitely one of the main things that I would say would be the Q day. So when quantum computers reach like this sort of quantum advantage, so they could potentially outperform classical computers, that could be really exciting. We have to take into consideration that they could outperform classic computers at certain
Right.
tasks as well, not at everything. You have to take that into consideration, everyone in the audience as well. Like, well, you know a lot of these areas, so that's really important. But also, I'm really intrigued by cybersecurity and cryptography. Like, it's really amazing what's happening. United States, like, it's investing a lot of money as well in these areas. I believe reading this news that the Pentagon is seeking to invest $100 million for cryptography and cybersecurity. So there's a lot of things right there. How are we going to use quantum key distribution? Because we know that RSA is one of the most like secure systems right now, but hey, perhaps in the future it will be QKD. So how are we going to use quantum mechanics for these purposes of cybersecurity? How are we going to sort of keep our information data safe? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of applications, and those specifically are really, really exciting.
So I'm going to, like, I was literally like, oh my God, I
Yeah, please go
swear I
ahead. Go
did,
ahead.
no,
You
no,
know more in
no,
the area.
no. So I did not cue her up for this conversation at all. This is when she said the amount of money, the Pentagon, and then she went into cryptography, and then of course, quantum computing and quantum mechanics. I swear I did not gear you up, but one of my colleagues in my university would be enamored at the talk of his strategy with healthcare and cryptography. So that is funny that you were even bringing this up. And that's how like this is definitely a studied thing for this young lady for sure.
Wow.
I did not mention this to her, I swear, but I started grinning because I know one of my partners in my dissertation chairs collection of people. It's me and this other guy, and his work is dealing with just that. So
Wow.
I will
A
remember,
coincidence.
right? So I will remember to send you his final dissertation when he's done, so you can read it at your heart's content because that is
Wow,
going
that's
to be a
amazing.
big one. Yeah.
Wow.
So let's talk about misconceptions in quantum because that's a thing, right? Like quantum for a while was theoretical, still is. There's a lot of theoretical basis to quantum computing because it's just not a completely generated focus right now. Just like physics, you can have applied physics, which by the way, we will have a speaker on that later on this summer. But you can have applied or theoretical physics where the applied is actually integrating these models and doing things in real life terms, or theoretical where it's just a thought process and you don't really know whether or not it actually will take physical form. So
That's right.
what are your misconceptions about quantum computing that you find most common, and how do you address them?
Um, I believe, well, like I remember this time when I was talking to some students and it was just a flash that I came. I was talking to the student and they told me, well, Lisa, so my computer right now, we were having like this programming class together. So my computer will be like not useful in the future with quantum computers. Like they will replace then my laptop or my I don't know, my iPad, everything.
Right.
And I was like, well, that's a common misconception over there because actually quantum computers won't replace classical computers. Classical computers are even better sometimes than quantum computers at some tasks, right?
Right.
So we need to understand that first, quantum computers won't replace classical computers. They will work together. So this
Yep.
cross collaboration is a thing, and that will happen. The second thing is that quantum computers are not just better like solving any problem much faster than classical computers. If we go with a calculator will be much efficient in a classical computer than perhaps solving something with a quantum computer, right? And there are many examples over there, but just to keep it simple. And the third thing is that sometimes people think that quantum computers will be just useful for these big industries or big companies actually, or just in the academia with the theory and everything. But actually, I found that quantum computers will be really useful for startups as well and serve students, who knows, right? So startups that can create different products for clients as well, that can sort of run different tests as well, and procedures, and as well as students. I think that learning is one key thing. Right now, we can access to IBM quantum.com, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
And that way you can just access right now like completely free way. I would say a 4-qubit quantum computer, and you can just like try exploring and everything. And it's just so fun. So yeah.
And the access is with your own laptop,
That's right.
iPad, phone,
That's it's
whatever the
not that
case may be.
you don't have like the one that you were so lucky. You were so lucky to visit the quantum computer, but you don't need like for example, a physical quantum computer to
Right.
access it. You can just like use your classical computer.
Right. Could you imagine that in like my bedroom or something like that? Like, what is this weird noise, this reflection, this aura coming out of the cloud? Oh, it's just my quantum computer. No, we don't need those big things, but we do have them in processing laboratories. As a matter of fact, one of my colleagues for IBM actually just did one of the grand openings in New York. I don't know if you heard about that. Do you remember that?
Like it was like from IBM or
Yeah, it was they actually did like a whole grand opening in one of the facilities that they just built back in, I want to say October. They did like a grand opening for it. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you
wow,
so you
that might
see
be
it. But
then the system one then, because I know that there's also in Cleveland Clinic they also installed one quantum computer over there. So it's just amazing to see what's happening
yeah,
over there.
yeah, it's all over the place, and I swear I
Yeah.
can't keep up with either one of you. So it's it's kind of fun to like try to globe trot with y'all. That's crazy. But
Yeah.
okay, so can you discuss any upcoming quantum computing projects that you find particularly promising? Anything that kind of strikes your chord of imagination and wonderment, if you will?
For sure. Um, well, quantum computers right now, they work through qubits, right? So they need a lot of qubits actually to make something that could really be significant.
Right.
So right now, I remember when I first heard about quantum computers, they were like 4 qubits, I don't know, 64 qubits, then 126 7 qubits, if I'm not wrong, and now like even 1,000 qubits. So scaling is a big thing, and I would say an upcoming project for all companies that are working with quantum computers. So scaling, having more qubits, with more qubits, more computational power, and therefore bigger results. Or it could be like having a meaningful impact in certain tests that they run. So that's one thing, scaling definitely. And the second thing is making sort of more fault tolerant quantum computers.
Yeah.
So we can have actually results that could be reliable. Quantum computers, as anything that is starting, they I don't know, they make a lot of mistakes, right? So I think that making fault tolerant qubits, so making them not that prone to error, would be a key or really important project that would be under development during these years, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. Because I mean, like anything brand new, it's gonna have glitches. So ironing out those processes and getting it to actually yield positive results without the influx of like, any kind of minuscule like crazy quirkiness, that's gonna be exciting because I mean then hopefully nobody uses this to a negative form, but we're able to use these for, any kind of calculations or things like that that we just haven't had answers to before that were theoretical. We can turn them into actual physical components and see like the more yielded, scientific promise that we're supposed to be getting into in the 20 odd centuries that we're looking at. So
That's right.
look, but geeking out. Okay, so intersection of healthcare and technology, because this is again one of the focuses that we're looking at,
Yeah.
improving. I mean, we want to look at government and things like that, improving, processes in the government. We want to look at like things like oil and gas or, computational efforts in like, universities. And then we want to look at stuff that actually helps people like, climate control and things like that. I don't know how they actually would function that. But healthcare and technology is one of the things that we're trying to really hone in on innovating processes and improving the concepts of like just helping people in general. So you've expressed an interest in, healthcare and emergent technologies. So
Yes.
can you give me a little bit of a discussion on particular technology that has the potential to revolutionize healthcare as we know it?
For sure. I think that, well, I'm really a fan of healthcare as well, and sort of combining these two things, technology and healthcare together, especially how can we make like, I don't know, healthcare products even better, more efficient, right? And reliable for clients as well as accessible. I think that's a really big problem out there to get to like other regions when it's really expensive. And I think that quantum computing overall could be helping it towards drug development. So how can we make different sort of drugs that could be more efficient for you for your disease, right? How can we, I don't know, analyze different molecular interactions and structures? That could be really sort of, I would say, mind blowing for me to see in the future. I know that there's a lot of still to process. There's still a lot of ongoing issues, as you mentioned, like the prone to errors, quantum computers, scaling quantum computers as well, and making them more accessible for companies to buy. That's one thing, but hopefully we can see even more better drug development, and also in terms of imaging. I think that so far I've seen some examples, some people talking about this, and it's really really nice to see how they can improve. If I'm not wrong, the CT scans.
Yeah, CT
Um,
scans. Uh-huh.
so how can they be more reliable? How they can express different things and sort of show patterns that clinicians or people in hospitals could better understand and analyze.
Yeah, I mean, and the first thing that I thought about when you started talking about like drug protocols and things like that was vaccination,
Yeah.
emergent diseases, like maybe better forecasting and, detection for, global pandemics, epidemics, because, the epidemiology world would really hone, be able to benefit from using things like quantum technology to calculate, like, the prevalence and the actual prominence of some of these areas that spike and increase in like infectious disease and things like that, we're working on prevention and things like that. So I think this would be awesome in epidemiology. As an epidemiologist, I think this would be one of the things that would really be a considerable thing to tolerate, especially since we've already using data analytics to, look at migration and focus for zoonotic diseases and things like that. So that would be awesome.
Yeah. I can
Definitely
wait
agree with
for
you.
I can wait for more like accurate results, more reliable, and yeah, like the efficiency in general, like for clinicians, like what if like I have a disease and like a quantum computer could help doctors create, I don't know, a better drug for my disease, in my treatment. That could be really, really
Yeah.
life changing.
And maybe even based on the patient itself, like putting
That's right.
in some kind of, chromosomal concepts to where it's more focused on the yield of that patient instead of the individuals that they've focused in on their
Exactly.
testing subjects, like that 100 or 200 or 5,000, whatever the FDA requires them to test before it actually goes to, clinical trials and through that whole thing once it gets put on mass market. So, I mean, maybe improvement on dosage and like the longevity of
Yeah.
things like that. So, yeah, I like this is I would love to see things like that. So if whenever you start at Duke and you are in the quantum labs and working this technology, please just text me and let me know that you got it. Eureka, it's going to market, and I will be
I'll
so
be in touch
proud.
then.
Seriously. So let's talk about ethics, because I mean everything has its scale of pros and cons, right? And we always look at ethics to consider things for healthcare in general, because I mean HIPAA, high tech law, we want to protect, the patients, and we want to be advocates for healthcare in itself. So what are the ethical considerations that you think would come into play when merging advanced technologies like quantum with healthcare?
Um, well, I don't want to be kind of like going to like once again with the same thing once again, but it was like as we talked recently about like the prone to errors of quantum computers, we know that sometimes the results they get, they're not as reliable as we might think,
Right.
unfortunately. So there's a lot of biases as well. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, there are like this bad side of it. Like we need to address or acknowledge that there will be some ethical implications that we need to consider. One of them would be sort of really conscious about like the privacy of our own data.
Right.
So as well as AI, right now we've seen it. It's really, really important to keep our data safe. There's a lot of things or information out there that is not really real. So how can we understand the information of quantum computers? It's really important to always sort of run different calculations of quantum computers. Is even better because you can get a better result. But also, how do you like consume your data and how do you get the data from quantum computers? I'm not sure how long will it take for quantum computers to develop 100% reliable data for you to
Right.
sort of educate others or use that information, let's say, like in more important areas like healthcare. So that could be a really important issue that we need to consider. That's why it's really important to create like this sort of robust, regulatory um, policies, perhaps, so we can have a board, perhaps, of people that can regulate this and that could hopefully prevent what is happening right now with AI.
A board with women. Just want to put that out. We've heard the
Wow.
controversy.
Yeah,
A board with
that's
women. Just want to, if you want a board with somebody,
that's
I'm
true. That's
pointing,
true.
I'm pointing at least, at least, but I mean, you can include both of us. I don't mind. I don't mind being a board member
Yeah, we will make the best team ever.
ever. Okay, in life. so, so let's dive into challenges in tech, because that's one of the things that I love. And I mean, if you're a scientist, if you're a tech enthusiast, if you are a modeler, whatever the case may be, you love problem solving, because that is all that STEM is. STEM is nothing but problem solving. So we're going to talk about some challenges in tech that you may encounter. And if you are so keen on these concepts that we're talking about, definitely get into tech and get into these problems and start solving things so we can have
Yeah.
these awesome inventors and strategists coming up in the wake of us kind of gleaning off into the sunset as we, because I mean, Elisa's going to be doing this for the next 90 years. So like
Hopefully, yeah.
I imagine hundreds of books being written by this woman. So what are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a woman in the tech industry, particularly in the cutting edge field of quantum computing?
Yeah, so accessibility, actually, it's a really important problem, like especially in developing regions. So I would say that I've sort of witnessed firsthand how difficult it is to access different resources, or how can you access different technological tools when you want to learn and you're like so enthusiastic about it. How are you going to access to those resources? Is really like the first barrier that you encounter. So
Right.
probably one of like potential solutions would be sort of trying to do these partnerships with great companies that have like the resources that can like bring these mentors. I've been really lucky enough to contact some people, like through many rejections, by the way. I remember the first time that we contacted this technological company, IBM, and they told us, well, let's do something together. And we hosted the first sort of seminar, Girls in Quantum. And
I
it
love
was like
that.
500 students from all over the world. I remember like connecting, we gathered 5 speakers, one from, I would say, Chile, India, Spain, United States, and I missed one country, unfortunately, I don't remember well. But we were all together teaching about quantum computing. I remember they were telling about quantum chemistry, quantum cybersecurity, quantum and like internet networks. So it was definitely amazing to understand what is happening in the world by having the support of someone or a company that has like the resources to provide this. So definitely addressing that challenge is really important. The second thing is also empowering women. So right now, many think like, what is happening if we don't have women in the industry? It's really important to include more, sort of try to bring more role models in the area as well. So perhaps many people say, oh, there aren't many women in this area. Yes, that's a problem. But the second thing is that the few that they are in the area, they are not shown, or they are not
Right.
sort of, I don't know, seen as much, because people don't tend to, oh, okay, here's like a woman here, right here. So we need to visualize or sort of show more women in these areas as well. We need to like, hey, Ambericent, I want to share your work. Let's do this. Like let's showcase
Yeah.
what you're doing right here in this platform. Or
Platforms. Yep.
that that's right. So communicating, right? So let's have role models. Let's develop different initiatives that could be more accessible for people in different regions that can perhaps do not have access to internet, which is like a major problem, right? So I think that
Yep.
there's a lot of approaches over there, but definitely there's way of improvements, and there's also a lot of space for new people or people that are already in the area or in different industries to come and provide their solutions, provide their perspective, and make this change.
Yeah, I 100% agree. You can't possibly be what you don't see. And representation matters, right?
That's
We're
right.
talking on a scale where without the technology, we wouldn't even be able to communicate as well as we are on this platform. And then at the same time, we don't see enough of us in the rooms that make the decisions to create these types of particulars, whatever the case may be, whether it be quantum computing, whether it be physics, whether it be mathematicians, professors in
Right.
these industries, board positions. You know, we have this knowledge, and to harness some of that knowledge from the women that are in these fields would be amazing. Look at Hidden Figures. I mean, that was a big situation with three magnificent women at NASA being able to catapult us to the moon. And it was not even a thing
Yeah.
before these women walked in the room. And I mean, they were calculating stuff that I could not imagine. My calculus book, I literally had to blow dust off of it when I saw this movie, and I was just like mind blown. But that's the type of thing that we need, the representation, whether they be African American, whether they be Chilean, whether they be from Ethiopia or Ghana, wherever the heck they may be. We need that focus and that opportunity to be on these platforms so that we can talk to people and entice them to be in the same shoes that we're walking. And we're walking right now, right? For other people to do this same type of thing, and they'll have a better opportunity than we had. We're struggling to get into these fields. And the people that are coming after us won't have such a problem because we've already laid the field and the groundwork for them. We just need y'all to come on in and help us with keeping this going. So people like
Yeah.
Elisa, I swear we are so grateful for having people like you because it makes my job so much easier. Especially you guys starting out so young. I mean, when I talk to you, by your background and attitude, I did not know that you were as young as you were. So let's just be clear, okay? so so let's talk about one more thing, and then we'll talk about let's see. Oh, so in what ways have you seen the tech industry changing in terms of gender diversity since you've began your illustrious career?
No, I'm just thankful for that. But yeah, I've seen a lot of progress in terms of more initiatives going on right now. Sometimes there are like many mentorship programs overall, like, hey, like let's learn about like Python, or let's learn about like mathematics with a like this easier interactive approach, or like let's learn math by playing. So
Right.
there's a thousand of opportunities right now that we can really enjoy and sort of share with our students, with classmates, people in general that can start sharing about this. It's so great to see. For example, I remember this experience. I got in touch with a physicist from Switzerland, and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing my thesis. I'm like working this. I study physics, but now I really want to make something different, and I'm going to implement. I want to teach quantum mechanics to kids." So I was like, what? To kids by creating this game of cards. So I was like, really, like you got me there, like you sold me.
Yes, good
Let's
luck.
start let's start doing something together. And he told me his idea, and he developed the game. And he actually included the logo of Girls in Quantum, which was like, what? So
I
he
love
partnered
it.
with us, and he gave us a lot of games for community. So he shipped games from Switzerland to Chile, from Switzerland to Germany. He was like, I'm so thankful for that. The game is called Hop, so HOP. So those ways of sort of approaching, okay, this like a difficulty that we have. So let's teach quantum mechanics to other students. How do we teach it like in an easier way? Okay, he had the solution, right? So having those initiatives, having those mentorship programs in areas for improvement, for learning is really important nowadays. So try sharing those, try getting involved, look at social media, look at internet as well, where there are opportunities. Right now, like social media could be seen as well as like, oh, perhaps there's a lot of sort of consequences that it may have, but you can
Right.
take it also in a positive side. So how can you really take advantage of it? Sometimes we see all the negative aspects, but you can also see, okay, I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to follow like all these great people that are working in science that would inspire me, that could be like role models that are in these leadership positions, so I can constantly see them and say like, hey, I actually can do this. I actually can inspire more women to be involved in these areas. I actually can bring my classmates to go and learn with me in this program.
No, I love that. And you literally just talked me into throwing out all of my Monopoly game boards. So congratulations. It will be a centerpiece on my coffee table from now on. Um, right next to my chess piece because I have like chess on my
Awesome.
coffee table too. So now I need some of
There's a
those
quantum chess
games.
actually.
Oh, no, seriously? Okay. So we will include all of this information for those that are like as hype as we are about these things because this
Yeah,
this is this is I'm pretty sure people are like, oh my God, what is wrong with these? But I'm going to include those in this discussion. I'll go back and I'll fix the discussion so that you can add your links and everything. I'm definitely going to do that. And that would be awesome to. I know I'm like we're way off topic, but I don't care. Um, to get that into some of the DC schools, for the games for some of the science classes.
that's
That would be
right.
super cool. Oh yeah, we got to
Definitely.
talk. Okay, so
Yeah.
every time we talk to each other, we think about something else that we can do. We just busy. Okay, um, so what initiatives or strategies would you suggest to support more women entering and succeeding in tech fields?
Yeah. Um, Soft skills for me, it's a really sort of important topic that could be also be taught more in classes or in high school. Sometimes we only focus on technical things. So I think that programming is really, really important. So like if you have the chance to go, that's really good. You got this, you can go and try. It's not that you must do it. Like if you don't do it, like the world will like, I don't know, fall apart. Not at all. But I think that you should definitely give it a chance. And the second thing, like once again, like soft skills, like get to how to communicate good. How can you interact with your team effectively? How can you communicate ideas, brainstorm together? Sometimes those things are like underlooked. So it's underlooked or overlooked actually.
Overlook. I had to
Okay,
think about
great.
it.
Thank you
I
so
was
much.
like
Thank you.
calculating my
Thank you
quantum
so much.
brain.
I was like,
It's
oh my,
overlook. Yes,
today.
got
Overlooked.
you. No, I got you.
So thank you so
Okay.
much. So those things or those skills are overlooked. So it's really important to just like take a chance, go and explore the courses out there that teach you about those skills, especially if like you can improve somehow, like social skills, emotionally skills. Those are really important, and having the chance to like interact with your team, get to have a project together. There's not just like you're going to use it like in a specific project, but in
Right.
life overall. So yeah, that could be a tip that is not, I would say it's not that common, but hopefully it could be useful for you.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I second that motion because I think that if I would have started out more on the technology side than the biological essences that is my background, I think I would have been a little further on. But I'm happy with the yield because science taught me a lot. I have a
Awesome.
love for science, but technology is king right now in my life. So,
Yeah.
so with
Yeah.
that, um, we're gonna do a little bit of a break. We're gonna take
Awesome.
a quick quantum calibration, if you will.
I love
I
that.
try to do these things right. A quick quantum calibration. So feel free to stretch or stay put because, of course, we have amazing music. I love classical orchestrated music. And we'll be back in a flash. That was also a pun. About 3 minutes from now. So take a break and we'll be right back.
Lovely. See you.
I got you. Yep.
Yay. Okay.
All of that, we will delete it. So we're just going to pause
Awesome.
because we're back. And I will make sure to do that. So, in the figurative and actual quantum physical speaking, we're giving you all the tea, and I actually went to go get some tea myself.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
also
we
got my
are.
tea here.
Look, we're bringing the tea and drinking tea at the same time.
Yeah.
So let's hop back into it so we can keep this going because I'm having too much fun and this is my highlight for my Tuesday evening. So, so we're going to talk about global impact and recognition because that's one of the things that we really want to focus on doing and taking care of a global inference of technology and innovation and adding women to the STEM profile. So global impacts haven't been recognized globally, including by, oh, I didn't even mention, she's been recognized by the White House. Let's just be clear. She's a prodigy, if you will.
Um,
Can you please share with us how these accolades have influenced your career and advocacy efforts?
for sure. So I've never thought it would be possible to get something for like the White House or anything. Like that was like unimaginable for me. So I'm really thankful for that, first of all. And I think that overall it has been a great thing for me to just be able to get to more students and get to other companies as well through these recognitions. It's not just like, oh, I feel good with these recognitions, I feel good with these sort of awards, but it's like sort of like this, I would say vehicle to get me to, okay, let's do this mentorship. Okay, like someone saw me like, I know here in Chile, there was like this newspaper, and I appeared in 2022 and I was like, wow, this, no way, I'm reading this like newspaper, like this really famous, I'm reading this newspaper every day and now I'm on it. So that really
Right.
allowed me to connect with people that were like, hey, Lisa, I actually saw you in this newspaper. Let's do something together. Let's do a mentorship.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, actually, like this is so helpful because that's what I need. We connected with different mentors. We sort of get connected with a physicist. I remember this woman that was like amazing. And she told me like, hey, let's do something together, and we organized a workshop together. So that was one of the best things ever. I also got connected with the first quantum computing school right here in Chile. Those were like the first things happening, and afterwards it's just like, I don't know, like it went to like many opportunities. I'm so thankful, like connecting as well people from other countries with ambassadors of this country. So I remember like Sophia, she's an ambassador, she's our ambassador of Girls in Quantum in Germany, and she was like, she's so amazing. She's like doing a lot of things. She hosts like this club at her university, Heidelberg University, and I was also
Awesome.
able to sort of, we connected in also LinkedIn with other people, and it was like, hey Sophia, like, do you know this conference, like this woman is organizing this conference right there in Heidelberg, so you should connect. And she was able to attend that conference. So it's definitely great to see like opportunities happening. We also saw each other with our UK ambassador and Germany ambassador in Switzerland, think like this year once again in another conference. So having those
That's
opportunities to
so
connect with
cool.
others, it's yeah, so amazing.
I am so like I'm floored. I mean, things like that, they're no small feats. Now, let's be clear, like when you do something, you expect to reach an audience, but you don't expect to reach like, a global scale or a magnitude of like the White House and things like that. You do it because you love it, right?
That's right.
Um,
That's
the
it's so
extra
beautiful.
Yeah, but the fact that you get recognized with it is like, okay, well, I am doing right. I am doing this. This focus is something that I was put here to do, and it gives you like a purpose. So, I mean, yes, accolades are great. They are, and they really like magnify everything that you're doing. But keep doing it because
Yeah.
you obviously are reaching so many people. And I mean, when I reached out to you and started talking to you, I literally did not know how great of a situation you already had, and for you to even be on this platform, I'm grateful because I didn't think you had the time of day or night. So let's just be clear, because the girl is busy, okay, booked and busy.
Uh, Thank you
um,
so much. But it also
no,
like it also amplifies the efforts of like the people in the team. I'm really like I'm not just sometimes I'm just in like interviews and they tell me like how do you do it like all by yourself? And I'm like, well actually there's like a whole team behind, like there's like 16 years old, 17 years old, like from all ages actually that are helping me. That they're all around the world. They're really enthusiastic about quantum. So they're even like even more like they're like no, they are the genius. So yeah.
yeah. And I would love to definitely talk to everybody and ask them questions, because they could probably help me with my dissertation. Yet again, I'm focusing on getting that done, and I'm
Wow.
definitely reaching out to you guys, because I cannot possibly know everything, and just the explanation alone tells me that I need to reach out to you. So, so let's go into like responsibilities, right? So, um, huh, what responsibilities can what responsibilities come with being a recognized leader in tech? Like, how do you manage your responsibilities overall?
For sure. Well, advocacy, it's a huge part of it. It's a huge responsibility. And I really love like having that responsibility somehow. Like it has a lot of weight, don't get me wrong. But having the responsibility to advocate as well, to like raise the voice and sort of, hey, this is happening right here in my region. This is happening here in my country. This is happening in Latin America or in the world. It's something that it's not sometimes well received because you're like, oh, okay, like who is this girl that is going to talk like about this area, right? But it is really important to showcase what is happening in different parts of the world, as you mentioned, like share different realities, perspectives that sometimes are not just like known in general.
Right.
It's really key for me to go to certain schools and go and teach, sort of represent my journey, not just tell them like, hey, I got into this and I had like I'm like I am naturally born genius or something, so you cannot do this. So it's not like that. It's like I had like all these mistakes. It's actually like you don't have to be like I don't know Albert Einstein or Marie Curie
Right.
to get to this area. You can learn from these mistakes. You can start this way, explore these areas, explore these courses, get to know all these people, and you'll eventually get to a path where you're like, oh, I like exploring about this area, or
Right.
I like interacting with other like-minded peers. So it's about that, and I think that advocacy has taught me a lot, and I will continue learning a lot. I will continue getting to know other people, hopefully, that can teach me about their experiences. And I think that's invaluable somehow. Like, how can you share your stories? Sometimes I'm asked, what inspires you? And I think that's a big thing. Like, I'm inspired by stories, and I love that. I always
Yeah.
tell that to people.
Yeah. And I like, take this for example, right? Like, just us having this conversation, I get to talk about this conversation and then guide other people that may not know this field to listen to this conversation. And they'll hear me say this when they actually realize what I've done. But I mean, all of the conversations that we've had on this platform has been insurmountable, insurpassable to the outreach that we've had. And I've gotten people, walking up to me and saying, "Hey, I wanna be on this platform. I love what you're doing. This is a really good, inference into like the skill set and the need and the necessity of STEM for females." And I mean, we're all inclusive. I'll be clear about that. But we really want to harness and focus on people that have been abnormally integrated into STEM. Women have not always been in the space, and when they have been, they've been overshadowed, and it's not fair. I know lots of things aren't fair in life, but we really need to bring out that and make it more inclusive for sure.
That's so
So
true. And there are like many aspects where people can help. It doesn't need to be like, for example, I don't know, in education only, but also in policies, in the way that you can communicate to people. You don't have to be an expert in the area, but if you can share an opportunity with, let's say, students, that could be really meaningful to
right.
some people. I had the chance of For example, I remember the government here in Chile was trying to do some policies or sort of proposals for the government, and I was like, I never thought I was able to like, I don't know, take part in it. And I received this
Yeah.
invitation actually. And it was really meaningful for me because as a student, I was like the only student over there. I was able to share, hey, this is like happening here in some schools. This is like what we need to learn. We're like, I don't know, if we have seen like some pictures of like 100 years ago education, there's like people in their pencils, like trying to do like some
Right.
exercise over there, right? And like 100 years forward, we're still on the same page, right? So how can we evolve in that way? How can we sort of bring educational tools, technological tools to students? Yeah, it's like that mindset that hopefully we can start implementing nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, implementation is key. Like I only got really interested in like science and focuses from like elementary school, where like I went to a private school when I was in elementary school. I was fortunate enough to go, and I had a third and fourth grade teacher who, like, I mean, let me just tell you, I was mesmerized by these women. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to do what they do. Like, I want to do the science that they do. I want to do the math that they do. And I swear, if I find them today, because it's so hard to find them because they've been married and this and that, last names change things. If they could see the conversation now and the reason why is because of them, I think that it would bring them to tears. So to be in an area or an arena like you and I, where we're able to really talk to people and and have them strategize in their own head how to get to where we're doing and then surpass us. Oh my God, I love to see that. I would love to
That's
see
right.
it. Yeah.
Love it.
So so let's talk about entrepreneurial insights, because I mean, why lie? Money makes the world go round, right? So so as an entrepreneur, even in a nonprofit, it's still entrepreneurial like intake, right? What critical advice would you give to someone looking to start their own tech initiative, especially for young ladies?
Yeah. So, um, once again, I think that teamwork, it's just, I think that it's so, so important. Like, so, so important. Like, you could do it by yourself, but it wouldn't be the same. Or
Yeah,
perhaps, like, with a team, you can get like new ideas. Hey, let's do this like this way. What if we like get this other approach or get this other way of doing or executing or project, right? So it's about that and makes a difference and that can really have like this pivotal sort of impact with your
yeah,
project. So perhaps you've thought, oh, okay, let's create this project that could like perhaps integrate quantum computing, that could be served in the education aspect. But what if like someone come here and tell me like, hey, I actually think that perhaps we could do it better, or we can have like this new approach that integrates AI. Who knows? Like something crazy is not that crazy if you think with a group, right?
right.
So that's the best thing ever. Also seek for mentorship. I think that I can express stress enough how important has been mentorship for me to receive advice from people that sometimes they're like, hey Lisa, can I give you this advice? I would totally encourage you to go and talk with these people, go and talk with this person. Perhaps they can also guide you through better create a better project, for example. So do not be afraid to ask for advice. If they say no, it's a no. It's just a no. There's like 1,000 people out there that you can ask for advice. And I'm sure you will notice a difference the before and after you get that advice and you implement it actually. Sometimes asking for, once again, like 15-minute coffee chat can really make a difference. I remember sometimes I talk with some people on LinkedIn, I connect with them, and they're like, "Hey, Lisa, I actually have this organization. Let's say we educate women in this area." And I'm like, "Oh wow, that's so amazing. We should connect." And we talk for, I don't know, more than 15 minutes even, and we get to have this exchange that is really important. Sometimes I talk with people that they are not even in technology, not in education, and they end up giving even more valuable advice. So it's not that, don't feel like, I don't know, forced to just talk with people in your area, but also be open to just like, okay, I'm open to advice, I'm open to learning. There are many
Right.
people out there that could offer you like really meaningful advice.
Yeah, And don't be afraid of the no, because I mean,
That's right.
even I get no. I could not tell you how many times I've gotten no, and it doesn't deter me. It made me feel a little off, and I might go in, in the closet and cry. But I mean, rejection is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Accept rejection for what it is. Don't let it deter you. If you really want to do something, you really want to get in on it, do it. Like, don't let somebody tell you no and that be the end of it. Mentors
Yeah.
are the same way. If a mentor tells you no, thank you, I appreciate you for taking the time, I'm going to move on to the next. You don't tell them, but I'm going to move on to somebody else. And then, unfortunately, a lot of times those mentors come back and they're like, oh man, I should have probably listened to you. I really wouldn't want to get in on this. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of times you have to stand your ground and say, you know what? I'm going to keep
Yeah.
it moving.
Being
I
confident.
yeah,
Exactly. Like if you're confident with your project as well, you have to. It's really important to always like acknowledge other people ideas, other people advice. But if you're also confident with your idea, you can trust in yourself. You want like if someone says, "Oh, okay, it's awful," you want to break with this project. It's not sustainable. It's not going to last long. But if you're confident and you like build this team and you like sort of work really hard with your idea, it will be great for you, and at least you will learn as well. If it fails, you will learn once again. So yeah, don't fear rejection and
yeah,
failure.
yeah. And also, if somebody comes up to you, I'm going to put it on your shoulders that you should probably listen because they had to brave some serious storms internally
That's
to
right.
come up to you and talk to you about something they were passionate about. So give them an ear. Even if you're not really interested, at least you're a
Yeah,
practice for somebody else that
that's
is going to be open to doing whatever it is that they're looking to explore.
a
So
100%.
I take my own advice. I'm going to be honest. Like, I take my own advice.
Love it.
Um, so what are the key attributes that you believe every tech entrepreneur should possess, if any?
Yeah, so well, I love to have like the skills that I will mention, but I think it's definitely about like learning and improving and trying to sort of learn that from other people. Um, Definitely empathy. Empathy is a great thing. Sort of if you want to. I think that I've been obsessed with that term, especially after learning about design thinking. So how are you going
Right.
to develop a product if you don't know your audience, if you don't know your clients, if you don't know your target, right? So put yourself in the shoes of other people. It's really important, I would say, for entrepreneurs. Like perhaps sometimes people even don't know what they want. So you may create something that can really be valuable for them, that could be more efficient for them, that could allow them to have more time for themselves, for their family, for their free time. It's about the way that you think and you sort of communicate as well. Sometimes, once again, like you can have the best presentation ever, but if you don't communicate your ideas, then, well, what is going to happen, right? Start sharing your progress. I think that's so important. Sometimes people tend to underestimate themselves and think, oh, well, but that's actually, what am I doing? It's just like a little bit, right? It's just like, it doesn't have much effect on someone else or somebody
Right.
else. But if you start like posting like step by step, there's going to be, hey, actually, I started this way and now I'm here, for example. So that's like that journey. It's still something that is really important for you to show and showcase with other, and that can inspire as well many other people. I
Right.
think that being sort of flexible and adapt to different environments is really good whenever you have to, I don't know, change works or jobs or change perhaps school. Different sort of environments allow you to like say, hey, actually, when I was younger, I changed school, let's say twice. Now I'm like changing here in this environment. I'm much better nowadays. I can
Right.
connect with people faster. I can get to communicate with this team. Perhaps someone else is not just fit my energy with them, but I still can communicate my ideas and do the work effectively. So yeah, mainly those skills are really important.
Yeah. I agree. Those are look, I'm still improving, you know, I'm still improving my own perceptions of ideals these days, and I'm telling you,
Me
everybody,
too.
we're human. We are born with error. So I mean, unlike I mean, we are exactly what we're creating. The supercomputers that we're creating have error, and so do we. So you can't expect everybody to be perfect, absolutely. But just having those devices to be able to focus on while you're integrating and growing as a person in your field of study or your field of choice, or if you end up integrating into another field, that's really like it it shows your growth and your projection of improvement over time, and it's definitely something to not sneeze at. So let's
Yeah.
talk about I guess future trends. So what are or where do you see the convergence of AI? Because that comes up. It's almost all for certain in the conversation of quantum computing and other emergent technologies headed in the next decade, if you want to go
Yeah,
decade.
I love the convergence of topics, especially in technology. I've seen right now, and I think that's one of the like future trends that is going to happen, like how we perceive technology, not just like a part of like the STEAM or STEM areas, um, but part of like in general a combination of things. So how can we within technology, how can we have like these interdisciplinary approaches? How can we use quantum computers, who knows, with artificial intelligence? Both are related with efficiency, both are different worlds. One is classical, one is quantum, right? But still, how can we sort of work together, right? How right now we see classical computers working with quantum computers. Perhaps in 10 years more, we can see the research of business right now working on those areas, working on AI and quantum, working together and collaborating and doing amazing things in healthcare, in arts, in finances. Who knows? I've seen people that have been working. Honestly, I believe. Oh yeah, I have this example. So actually, the founder of the organization that I first took the course about quantum
Hmm.
computer,
Hmm.
I had a meeting with her afterwards after founding Girls in Quantum and telling her about my experience, and she was like, actually, like after taking our course, did you like start your own initiative? And I was like, yeah, but I really wanted to know your experience. And she told me like, hey Elisa, well, that's what I love about quantum, because I actually quantum allows you to not just be in the field forever, or just like, okay, you need to be a physicist to go into quantum, right? I she told myself, well, I studied happiness in high school, actually, sorry, in happiness in college. And I she told me I'm like the first person ever to have a bachelor in the world in happiness. And still, after those years studying happiness, I got in touch with some people, and they sort of introduced me to quantum computer, and we all founded this organization that now teaches quantum computing and have these courses. And I was like, I cannot believe
Of
you, like,
all things,
yeah,
to
like
go from
the founder of the core, or like the program in general, she had like, she didn't have like this background in quantum computing. And I was not like, oh, she doesn't have like the background. It was like, it's really cool to have like those paths where it guides you to quantum computing without having like this specific track, so people and students can be really encouraged to discover and explore, actually. Because if you just focus in a certain area, perhaps it'll get you eventually to quantum computing. But if you have the time to also explore, let's say I love art, or I love business, you get the
right.
chance to explore, and afterwards you can really take a course, explore, take mentorship courses, and learn about quantum. So I love that about quantum computing. So there's a lot of convergence of areas, interdisciplinary approaches. So yeah, if anyone out there is really curious to know more about quantum, don't be like, don't be scared if you didn't study physics or anything like that. You can
At
actually
all.
be involved in so many ways, and that's what I love about quantum computing.
Yeah, yeah. I have a colleague of mine, and literally, and this is completely like random. It's not quantum, but it's cybersecurity. But cyber psychology, of all the
Wow.
things to really put together, cyber psychology is a thing now. And it's literally psychological like infrastructure of cybersecurity and the way that people interact with cyber itself, how we have these threat actors, how we go into play with like all the psychological realms that you think psychology has, they've integrated it into models for cyber security. So like just a, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, people like those in medicine can integrate into quantum. So if you do social sciences or what's another weird scale? I can't think of anything out off the topic. Or like our last, speaker, she was into art and everything, and she went into scientific illustration. Like those,
Wow.
you wouldn't think that things can cross over, but we need other elements, other, thoughtful thinkers in these repositories to kind of integrate into these scientific realms because we don't want to just stay STEM. We want to broaden this scope
That's it.
significantly. So, I mean, like one of my speakers here, she was cybersecurity and auditing, but she worked it into aviation. So
Wow.
it's like these things can happen. So I have high hopes for quantum computing. I think we'll have some of the craziest dynamics, like just weaving into the semantics of it all. Um,
It's really
so
nice.
let's talk about businesses and like the preparation of it all. How should businesses and individuals prepare for the impacts of these technologies? I'm sure there's a fear, you know,
Yeah,
cyber something taking over. They watch too many Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, Terminator, and all this other things. But that is it's far stretch, right? But
that's right.
what's your take on the integration of technologies?
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's a lot of skepticism out there about how it's going to. I even have like suffer from this skepticism, right? Like there's quantum hype over there. Some people talk about like, hey, like right now you should like I don't know buy this product about like quantum computing or just like start using
Right.
it or companies should start just investing right now. I'm not really an expert in terms of like finances or like I would like suggest anyone to start like investing in this but definitely be open. Like be open to what's going to happen as well. Like imagine if we were like I don't know 5 years ago, and just like if I tell you like, hey, be open to artificial intelligence, it might be a thing, right? So I think that right now it's like that time, right? Be
Yeah.
open to quantum computing. It might be a thing. It might develop into something that could be really useful for us, for not just like companies, like big companies in general, but persons, like people in general. Be open to that, be open to explore, be open to perhaps take a small course, a little course about quantum computing. There are many areas like you can learn about quantum mechanics, you can learn about quantum physics. So different areas that you can explore, but be open. Also, like be sure to understand well if there's like certain skills that you want to perhaps, I don't know, gain. There could be programming, there could be like also getting to know more about what's the landscape overall, the geopolitical landscape. So how countries are now investing in quantum technologies around the world. Talking about investment, how there are like ecosystems around the world, focusing on R&D and sort of having more people in the area, perhaps bringing these PhD programs. Sometimes there's not even PhDs. I've seen like this, for example, last year I was seeing this master from UCLA that open like 1 year you can have like this master for quantum computing or quantum science, if I'm not wrong. So there's a ton of opportunities that are now sort of being created that you can take advantage of. So be open.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll fool around and see, farming strategies improve because of quantum technology. Like sky's the limit, right? So okay, well, so I mean, hey, let's talk. We're talking about advancements and impacts. Let's talk about a little bit of potential risk because there's always risk with everything. Somebody's going to turn this into something nasty. Unfortunately, we can't stop it. Threat actors are always going to do their thing because they feel that this is something that they should strategize, use, and interpret in another demeaning, demoralizing way. So, what potential risks should we be aware of as these technologies integrate and continue to evolve in our daily lives?
Yeah, we have seen it with other technologies, perhaps. I'm kind of sure of it, but also like the socioeconomic aspect, or like the big companies are usually going to get first, like the
Yeah,
all
first
of these
dibs. Yep.
advancements, right? So there's going to be a gap, evidently, between like startups or people that wants to like create new products and these big companies that have been like working so far, I don't know, years and years in this technology. They have a lot of advancements, a lot of physicists, and not just physicists, like people that have been working in these areas for a long time. So I think there's going to be a gap right there. That's going to be a risk, sometimes when implementing new products, or wanting to have this sort of leverage of things. Um, the second thing is the ethical implications, as we talked and discussed
Yeah.
earlier. So if you don't remember, I would encourage you to rewatch afterwards that part, because that will be really important to understand the ethical implications of it. How can we make sure to perhaps create policies, create a board where we can sort of have advisors and have a better future afterwards, and sort of not have the same issues and mistake we did with, or we're making with AI.
Right. No, and all those things I've thought about myself. So I'm glad we're sending the same quantum wavelengths over between the US
Yeah,
and
we're entangled.
Chile.
We're entangled.
Mm, yes, very very entangle like, but the good entanglement, not the Will and Jada entanglements, not the not those entanglements. This is totally different. So um so that's, I mean, that's good. And I'm like, I'm constantly evolving my conversation in my head. I swear I will not impose the poor audience on all these things. We're gonna go forever if I do this. Um, so personal insights. We'll talk about personal insights. So outside of your professional achievements, which we could all bask in for days. You mentioned being a language and culture enthusiast, like the Indian girl that translated the quantum, details into her own languages so that her, fellow students can yield the same type of knowledge and amass this amazing new technology that's coming down the landscape. So outside of that, how have the interests influenced you in your professional journey?
For sure. Well, culture is a big part of myself, I would say, like exploring different cultures and sort of learning different languages. I love learning languages. I'm still like, I still need to improve in a lot of ways when I speak English or French. I've been also trying to learn a bit of German, and well, Spanish is my mother tongue. So I've been trying to learn a lot, but it's definitely enriching to get to know other people in those areas, to perhaps go travel to another place and they're like able to communicate in their mother tongue, right? So that's the main sort of purpose that I have. And I love when I have the chance of connecting to other people and they're like, hey, actually here we have this tradition, and they're able to share with me those things. I think that's so unique, and you can share that as well in your work. So whenever you have the chance to educate someone, you have the sort of the cultural background as well. It's not just about getting to know someone, oh, you like this and that, or you want to learn about quantum computing, but how can I make this even like for you more easier to understand, or how can I make some examples perhaps of your culture, with
Right.
your country. It's so great, and I love that, and people take it with so much love as well when you start understanding them more. So
Well, I
yeah.
I love that about like just the language, and I'm throwing this in there because so I mentioned that it would be awesome if we could have recorded this in Spanish. And then I was like, I'm not going to put myself in that predicament because it is muy malo. So I'm not even going to
Es
do
muy bueno,
that.
es muy bueno.
No, 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 no. I read and write. Me actually speaking it, oh my gosh, you would have to teach me before I come back on this platform and do that. But I'll be ready for sure. By the time you're
That'll
done
be
with your first
awesome.
year, look, I would really love to do that for real. Um,
That'll be
so
incredible.
so leading into another couple of personal insights, only because I want to get your personal take on this. Can you share how your interest in languages and cultures has opened new opportunities in your career and your educational model, if you want to throw that in there too?
For sure. So actually, the first program, like the one that I commented first, the quantum computing program, was in English. So I was able to, we could say, languages opened doors for me to get involved
Yeah.
into quantum computing. Because if not, I wouldn't have had the chance to learn about quantum computing, get connected with this many people. With you, for example, you're so amazing, and other people that really has inspired me to perhaps learn about quantum computing, learn about different areas, challenge myself. Sometimes just challenge like the unknown, we could say. So challenges have been, like languages have been really a key thing for me, and I hope like everyone perhaps to be, I don't know, into more languages, hopefully. I know that time is a big thing, but if you have the chance, I don't know, interacting with Duolingo sometimes, just playing a bit, like 15 minutes, it could really make a difference. If there's someone that has like children as well, languages could really make a difference. Like I was able to get into quantum thanks to learning English. So be open to that, and yeah, just have fun learning.
I mean, here's an idea, and I mean, let's stretch this, right? Taking something of an aspect of like Rosetta Stone, Duolingo, things like that, and putting it into a quantum surface where it actually integrates it into like integrates the explanations of quantum mechanics, quantum physics, quantum computing into other languages and even the dying languages
Wow.
to where we can actually have the synthesis of all of the global languages that are here and of past and be able to actually teach quantum on a different scale. I think we're building all these concepts in this platform. We're between me and Elisa, we're gonna have to go back and listen to this again and write down all of the things that we were planning on doing because we have so many things to do now. But I think
Yeah,
that will be really cool
imagination.
too.
Imagination has no limits. So I think that's the best thing ever. Like to get to explore what could happen if, or what if we could integrate this with quantum computers. I think that there's a ton of ideas out there, and I'm just so into it. Just like I was telling to you like the first before starting this, I'm just like so amazed by like this uncertainty of quantum computing, that it's really like, hey, what could happen in the future? Like what could happen, like I don't know, tomorrow, the year 2025 is going to be the National Day of Quantum. So
Yep.
what could happen that year? What are we going to do? What are we going to witness? What companies are going to sort of execute and show us that year? Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. And wait, I can wait because I don't want to have too many birthdays pass. But I can't wait on like the scale of the technology. I think is going to be so freaking fascinating. Um, well, with that in mind, right? Let's talk about like travel and cultural exploration. What roles do they play in your personal and professional life?
For sure. So, well, travel has allowed me to once again get to know like the ecosystems of like the countries, how they're implementing different policies that perhaps I didn't even thought possible. Sometimes I remember when I was visiting Canada, they were like turning me into. I had this lovely invitation from Perimeter Institute right there. I'm so thankful for that. And they were able to like, hey, here's like the Quantum Institute over here in the University of Waterloo. They guide me to like the laboratories, and I was like, wow, this, what is happening here? They were
Yeah.
working in quantum optics. They were working how like in some papers as well, and we're ready to publish. So there's a lot of investment overall, but also a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of people that are really eager to start learning. I talked with some PhDs and master students, and they were like, hey, Elisa, actually, I came into physics because I really love like doing it, like the physics by itself. But I never thought I would end up in this field. Actually, a professor inspired me to come here and perhaps give it a try to quantum computing. So I get to know people that have really different experiences as well. Like people that were like, oh, I was like first into business, and then I switched into the technological area. And some people were telling me about the ecosystem of quantum computing. I get connected with this person over here that is like the executive of this building. And now I'm working here. So that travel experiences have allowed me to connect with them, learn about what they are working on, how do they like envision the future as well, and yeah, what is going next for the next generation, right? So what can we expect?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about like a couple of I mean, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a couple of like um instances where quantum technology has been integrated into movies recently. Because of course, Oppenheimer, right? Of course,
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. But then, of course, we have Three Body Problem on Netflix. That was a big physical component of. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Three Body Problem was about these physicists that were all in this team, this group of applied and theoretical physicists. And I mean, inferences of like assimilated kind of theorem from like the Hadron Collider was involved, and some other kind of things were kind of in the play for like Three Body Problem. There was another one that was coming. What is it? Oh, Da Vinci, the Da Vinci Code series. That was another one that had a big thing, a big pitch on quantum, technology and things like that. So, like that, if you haven't realized yet what the conversation has been yielding for you all in the audience, like there's been intercepting little capabilities, little emphasis on quantum computing, quantum technology, quantum entanglement over the last like decade and probably longer than that, that they've been integrated into movies. So you see it, you don't recognize it until you start going and looking for it. But I just kind of wanted to throw that in there because I just thought about
Oh,
that
for
and I was like, oh
sure.
yeah, Three Body Problem was a big one. That was a big, big one.
Wow.
So if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's actually
Yeah.
good. I binged the whole thing. It was really good.
I've
And
never
I
seen
got
it.
like
I
really
should
into it.
go watch it. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was really good. And I don't want to give a spoiler because I would be like, just beat up for spoilers. But it did include physical contributions, so it was really good. Um, so let's go into collaboration real quick, and of course expansion, because we love collaborative efforts from scientists abroad and over here and everything. So you've extended an invitation to collaborate and expand impacts through your organization, through just regular conversation, through this platform. What kinds of partnerships are you looking for at this juncture, and or in the future? And how can organizations or individuals contribute to your mission?
Yes, so I'm really looking forward to participating in more sort of mentorship programs, mentoring other students, and having more sort of mentors as well that can allow me to share this information in a much better way, right? So how can we make things more interactive? Just like using, for example, the Hop game as well,
Yeah.
or using quantum chess, using, I believe there is also one initiative that is like learning about quantum mechanics through Minecraft. So there's tons of opportunities out there to make
Okay.
things more even fun, interactive, and I would love to collaborate with people and organizations that would allow me to do that. I also remember when I had the chance to collaborate in this initiative with the White House, and they were telling me about this Quantum Day video, and we organized everything. I was able to be showcased with NASA astronaut George Casada. So he was like, wow, so amazing. Also with also IBM leader, quantum leader, content creation expert. So it was like just an amazing way to represent this or showcase, hey, there's this quantum out here. Like this is what it's about. So those kind of initiatives showcase a lot of I would say enthusiasm in our way or by our side about quantum computing, but also educated a lot. So it was able to be showcased in a lot of the schools in United States, and that's a great thing. But also, if someone else wanted to see it, it's available on YouTube. So having those opportunities of also being showcased in different platforms is really important for us.
Well, I would love to I would love to speak for AWIS DC when I say that we would welcome the opportunity to help and do some collaborations here on the East Coast and further, because this would be a phenomenal opportunity for us to like do some some collaborative models and see what shakes. I would love to see that happen. So yes, please let me know. I'm crossing my fingers that we can get something like started before you,
Awesome.
or at least like while you're in like undergrad and everything. I don't want to bog you down because your studies are important. However, when you feel ready and hype enough to actually start this conversation, please do, because we are here for it. And we would love to get people into tech as soon as possible, because I mean, the younger we start, the better off we are. If we could do elementary or, mid-career, whatever the case may be, like I'm all for it. And we can
Thank
definitely talk
you.
offline and support this endeavor for you. No, absolutely no problem. Like no problem. Um,
Awesome.
so what are the key elements that make a collaboration successful in your experience? Like what do you
Yeah.
see as a positive that really like a bang for the buck kind of situation?
Yeah. Well, I think that nowadays it's really kind of, I don't know, crucial to understand, hey, what can we offer to like students that would be new for them, but can we also be understandable, right? What can we do for them to interact and just like next day wake up and be like, hey, actually, perhaps I can like learn a bit more about this, or perhaps I can ask my teacher about superposition, right? About that, like the Schrodinger cat. So I think that for common like this collaboration, like key elements would be to understand what is happening right now, where are we going to teach, where are we going to sort of communicate to the students, but as well, what can we do that it's different, that it's fun, that
Right.
can we like we can adapt to the student, not that the student have to adapt to like this new technology or like this quantum computing thing, right? So I love that way. I love when companies or organizations have these ideas of like communicating this like by a song. Sometimes like, hey, let's teach about some properties of quantum computing by singing a song together. And we've done this exercise. Actually, tomorrow I have to go and record this video uh, to explain about quantum and classical computers, and we're going to go to an actual maze. So it's just so
Okay.
exciting to see those collaborations happening, to see there's actually motivation and encouragement to do something different and innovative that can teach about quantum.
Well, I look, whenever that's listed and distributed, I would love to put it on the platform so we can
Awesome.
all, I'll put it on LinkedIn and YouTube for us. Like I'll do some kind of link where we can
Yay.
do a share, because I love stuff like that. Like getting outside of the norm of the textbooks and things like that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so looking ahead, what are the next big projects or initiatives you plan to undertake, and how can other people get involved? Like any of the viewers that will watch this and replay it and everything, how can any of them get involved with some of the work that you're trying to accomplish and will accomplish in the near future?
Absolutely. So we are really having this focus of research. So how can students get involved in research opportunities, right? So even if they're like, I don't know, 10 years old, what can they do, right? So last year we hosted an amazing research program with Perimeter Institute in Canada. We went filmed a lot of videos as well, how to research properly. We had like a lot of mentors as well that helped with us. This year we're undergoing once again this internship, sorry, this research because it was like so successful, and we received like, I don't know, 300 applications if I'm not wrong this year. So it was crazy. I'm so happy for like the enthusiasm of it, and we hope that next year we can still complete it and have the collaboration of even more companies. We plan to still go ahead and continue with interviews as well, of women, of people that are involved in the area and that are doing amazing work, and we want to showcase that to other students. Sometimes people are really curious to understand what can they do with quantum computing, what their, like, I don't know, their job may look like in the future. So yeah, we try to communicate that through our videos and platforms. And lastly, we hope to continue going to schools. I think that it's really important. Sometimes we once again overlook this aspect of it, of going in person and being yourself, showing your story, showing your journey, that everyone is different in somehow, but still like you can get involved, like hey, you can actually do this project, you can get to know about quantum teaching there, acquiring new skills. It's really important for us, so we plan to do that.
I love it. I'm here for all of it. So let us, your new friends at AWIS DC, know so we can literally catapult all of that into a trajectory of like prominence in our organization, especially here in the DC area. Because I know there are
Yay.
people that are really going to be interested in seeing this, like especially if they're not tuning in today, they'll tune in tomorrow, and when they watch this, they're going to be like over encompassed with like pride and joy because this is amazing. And to hear somebody that has such a, you know, a really deep understanding and deep commitment for this, that is beyond words. Like I can't express how much that it means so much to me. And I'm trying very hard not to like tear up
uh,
because people don't understand the passion that goes into, you know, bringing people together and having them focus on one specific topic and really broadening their scope and ideals. It's so refreshing to see that. So thank you for everything that you're doing with your program, with your nonprofit organization, with your future educational endeavors, and thank you for really focusing on bringing women into this platform. I think is so inspiring, and
no,
you.
thank you to
This is
you,
gonna be.
100%. No,
Thank
I'm
you.
just thankful for the invitation. Like I'm so happy to be able to share a little bit about this story, about girls in quantum, and perhaps we can inspire the next generation, some people to come and just like
Training.
go and get involved in one of our programs, perhaps collaborating. Who knows? Perhaps we can do something in Washington or in the United States or anything, anywhere in the world. I'm just like so thrilled to do that, to connect with different people. So if there's someone that wants to reach out, I'm also happy to connect. And yeah, once again, I'm really thankful for the invitation, Barry, especially because you're so amazing, you're so inspiring. And I think that you don't take yourself that accountable because you're like even more inspiring than you think you are. So really
I
thankful for
look,
that.
I always take myself out of it. I'm the one that's like, I will literally push you guys up on a platform. I'll be in the background cheering like
No,
the
you have
mama
to be
bear.
here.
I know I need to stop it, but thank you so much because that's hearing it from you is like so encouraging. So like I'm gonna get off my rear end and do what I need to do to make you proud. I promise. Um, so as far as advice for aspiring STEAM professionals, I mean, let's just talk about it. We love
Yeah.
inspiring people. I love seeing someone's face light up when they have that aha moment that they're like, I belong in this space. So,
Right.
what advice would you give to young professionals, more seasoned professionals that are aspiring or looking to build a career in the STEM fields, whether they've already got a field that they've come from or they're going into something and they're just completely a blank slate? They don't really have a particular interest that they're looking at. They really want to focus on trying to figure out what they want to do. A lot of people go into general studies and they don't figure out till like third or fourth year. But let's grab those ideas now.
Yeah,
And
that's right. So
how do you want to, you know, particularly also for women and underrepresented minorities, how do you, what
yeah.
advice would you give them?
I think embracing the to explore, embracing yourself to be open to explore. I'm really happy that I have the chance to, for example, get into theater, get into like arts and explore like my artistic side, getting to like gardening, and doing that with my friends, getting to sort of explore and have those different interests, getting to languages, getting to explore cultures. So if you had the chance to take your time, I don't know, 15 minutes to do something that really thing that it's really new for you, I think that could be really inspiring. Like you can wake up in the morning and say like, hey, today I'll have these 15 minutes to do something new. And that
Yes.
is really, that doesn't need to be like templated or something like that, but that can really, I don't know, empower yourself to be more confident, to have like this curiosity activated, and also to just be, when having another talent, just be, okay, I'll do it. I'll take it. I'll take this challenge. I actually am going to do it so well because I've gone through all these times when I had like this sort of getting to know this new thing or trying this new skill, trying this new, I don't know, exercise, anything. So try to explore and just provide those 15 minutes for you to just try something different. Even if you don't like it at first, you'll try with other things. So that could be great. And I think the second thing would be to just get in touch with other people. Like sometimes it could be like, I don't know, through social media, through like any platform, by in-person event. You can go and register for, I don't know, gardening class. It's about different skills that you can just try to understand better something, but also connect with people that can really bring you the insights that you need, motivation, some time, encouragement to explore. Yeah, that could be great.
No, all of it. And I mean, inspiration is key, right? You have to be able to
Yeah.
inspire yourself. So that is such a wealth of knowledge, and I'm taking it for myself, I promise you. So,
Awesome.
um, so with that, I guess like I hate to say it, but I'm out of questions. But now we're going to have Elisa give you an actual thorough class on quantum mechanics. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. But everybody's like, click off, click off. No, Jesus. No, it's a joke. We won't do that. Not yet. But maybe in the future. We don't know.
Yeah.
But as right, and we'll collaborate. We'll do like a song and dance in the background. I'll bring my
Awesome.
tap shoes. um,
Yay.
so as we conclude our engaging and dynamic discussion on quantum computing and innovation, I'd like to invite Elisa to share her parting thoughts. Elisa, reflecting on our dialogue today, from inspiring the next generation through this initiative that you are doing with Girls in Quantum, to discussing the cutting edge of quantum advancements in the quantum technology fields and endeavors, and your global impact as a speaker and a leader in this field. Okay, could you share with us and our audience a final takeaway?
For sure. So quantum computing is this emerging technology that I think it has a lot of potential, and we can't wait in general. Like all the team of girls in quantum, we can't wait to see the new advancements, the new breakthroughs happening, new applications that we can be like we could see and witness in real life, perhaps in the future. There's still a lot of uncertainty, so there are times to take into consideration ethical implications. We need to also address how can we empower more women in the field. Two Girls in Quantum, the organization that I founded, we've been working towards that. Hopefully, step by step, we are able to get more people in the area, get more students, and sort of train the next workforce and talent of people in quantum, of quantum leaders, we could say. There's also a lot of opportunities for people to explore quantum computing. They do not have to be physicists. They do not have to be like software engineers or something. I don't know, whatever you imagine. There's not defined path. You can be like whatever you want, like Barbie says, right? But if you're really thrilled or looking forward to explore quantum computing, there are a lot of options at quantum computing courses, skills, mentorship programs. You can also explore Girls in Quantum database where we have in our website, girlsinquantum.com,
Yes.
as well for entrepreneurs or people that are really into STEM areas. Feel free to explore, to just like be open-minded, talk with peers, get perhaps mentors and advisors to help you and guide you to the right way. Be open to make mistakes and failures. And lastly, like quantum is happening so fast. Like everything's going like, hey, there's like the news right here, this happening over here in, I don't know, Chile and Canada and United States. So make sure to perhaps read a little bit about what's happening. Go perhaps and look for applications in healthcare, finances, in cybersecurity, cryptography, quantum day. Yeah, the investment going on, R&D, and the different ecosystems overall is just so amazing. And I'm so thankful to be able to communicate this with you, Ambericent. It has been a lovely conversation.
Thank you so much. And I mean, look, if anybody on this platform thinks that they're left behind because we've already done the platform and all of the ecosystem for quantum, you are wrong. Get into it and just go back and read. It's just like a history book. You have to go and read history to know what the heck you're doing today. So go back and read some stuff,
Yeah.
get, spun up on it and everything. And then come on in and come find us. Come find Elisa. Come find me. Um, the website for girlsinquantum.com. Go find
Yeah.
that. It has a lot of resources. If you are looking for someone that has it, a broader scope of knowledge, IBM Quantum has a lot of technology resources.
Yeah.
MIT, Harvard, they are really invested in this knowledge. So go and find papers. If you look at PubMed and things like that, they probably have some things on the social dynamics of quantum computing and things like that. So just Google and find it. And I promise you, Elise is going to be in that Google search. So click her link. So as we bring our enlightening session to a close, I extend my super heartfelt, and super congratulatory thanks to Elisa for her invaluable contributions and insights shared with us today, especially her perspectives on quantum computing and empowering young women in science. To our audience, we trust that today's conversation has not only illuminated the transformative potential of quantum technology and probably confused you, but hey, whatever, quantum computing is confusing. If you're confused, then you're on the right path.
Yeah.
And in our contemporary landscape, but also inspired interest in this groundbreaking field, encouraging you to, either embark on this exciting journey with us or someone else that you trust and look at as a mentor, or navigate your existing course with renewed passion and insight. Please look for our next guest in the STEM speaker series. Details coming soon. I will not hint on it, but it is, we haven't had a bad rap yet. So know that we have the most amazing people that are coming on this platform, including the person that I'm talking to. I love her to death. I'm so fulfilled with like proud mama accomplishment. I swear.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and embracing the quantum realm with us, the geeky quantum conversations that we've had, as well as pushing the boundaries of innovation and inclusivity, and bringing your information, your dynamic, your structure, your thought processes into this conversation as well. So with that, I'm Ambericent Cornett, alongside our remarkable and esteemed guest and new AWIS DC ally, Miss Elisa Torres Durney.
Love
And
it.
together we are empowering women in science, one discovery at a time. Until next time,
Awesome.
folks, have an amazing night, and please look us up. Look us up. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.